Hello, it is Megan. How are you guys? So I want to let everyone know I changed my channel name. It used to be called Undead Megan or Meg, whatever, but I changed it to Misery Junkie. So you will see it on this video, obviously, but it is the weekend, so I did not post a video on Wednesday because I've been so busy this week. But I will be posting one this Wednesday coming up, and I am doing very disturbing videos because it is October and Halloween and all that good stuff. But thank you for coming by to watch another video, and if you're new, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button. I do videos on disturbing, creepy, true crime, just all of those things, so it is fun. Hit the bell button also if you want to get notifications from me. It will let you know when I put a new video out, or I put any kind of short video or notification, anything like that. So yeah. Also, I have been doing, every time that I hit a point in my subscribers, I've been giving away like a gift card. So I did that with my 50, I did that with 100, and now I'm going to try to do it to get to 150 subscribers. So right now I'm kind of stuck at like 120 to 125. But if I can get to 150, maybe I'll let the next person pick what they want, or like I can get them something, or maybe give you a little bit more on like a different gift card or whatever. And if you want me to tell any stories, just go under my basic info section on here, and you will find my email address, and you can just email me whenever you want. So, but let's get started. And as many of you know, I haven't really done like my first story about the mom and the daughters. That was pretty heavy, but I haven't done anything like super disturbing. I just want to let you know that today's story makes me actually want to give like a disclaimer. So the following is made for mature audiences. Definitely it contains adult and very graphic content. So I just wanted to let you know that before, so you didn't start watching it and then halfway through you were like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sick. Also, I would not eat anything because when I first read about this story and started reading all the information on it, I thought I was gonna be sick. It's really gross. So here we go. This story is about a girl named Lacey Fletcher. She grew up in a small Louisiana town called Slaughter, which is very ironic, but it was a town where basically, I'm sure that a lot of you have lived. Actually, I know a lot of you, so I know that we all have lived in a town where everybody knows everybody and everybody knows everybody's business and stuff like that. So when Lacey Fletcher went missing for 15 years, a lot of the people in that town had questions, but it was never taken any further. Lacey was the daughter of Clay and Sheila Fletcher. They were described as a big part of their community. They did live a fairly normal, church-going, middle-class life, and they were looked up to a bunch of people because Lacey's mom worked with the court system, and her dad, and by like the governor of their state, and the dad worked with the governor doing something. I think that he was a officer or something like that, so a lot of people looked up to them. When Lacey was 9, the family actually decided to move from their home where they were to another part of the town. They just moved houses. It wasn't like they moved out of the town or anything, but they moved houses, and she attended school at, it was formerly Brownsville Academy, which she was described as just very sweet, nice to everybody, and extremely smart. She was a member of the school volleyball team and very friendly to new people that that didn't know anybody, because she knew how that was, because she just, she had moved schools one time before. Lacey did have autism, and at the age of around like 15, she had to end up being homeschooled because she was getting very bad anxiety, like really bad social anxiety, being at school. So she had to be homeschooled. But as she grew older, people who knew her for a long time and the neighbors around them noticed that she wasn't maturing like somebody her age should be, or that some of her peers were kind of maturing at their age. She enjoyed activities more geared towards younger children, like kids movies and kids toys, yet her fellow teens uh, developed different interests, such as boys and cars and shopping and stuff like teenagers do. She didn't like any of that stuff. She just liked little toys and cartoon movies and things like that. And due to these interests, a lot of her former friends moved on without her, just because they were maturing and growing up, and it seemed like she was kind of staying in her own, she was kind of still like a child. So sadly, they moved on without her. The last time Lacey was seen alive in public was when she was about 21 years old. One of the family's neighbors saw Lacey walking around the neighborhood with a set of weights. She appeared to be physically normal in terms of appearance. Lacey had always been a really skinny, like smaller girl. She was always pretty thin, so it wasn't surprising to her neighbor when she saw her out there exercising a lot and how she was really thin, because she'd always really looked like that. None of this was out of the ordinary. The neighbor had seen Lacey exercising and walking around the neighborhood on a daily, normal basis. But thinking about how small the town is, people think that Lacey would have been seen again in passing eventually. However, neighbors never saw Lacey again until a couple years later. So it had been years since they had seen her. And this is where one of the neighbors asked her father, Clay Fletcher, he kind of questioned him about her whereabouts, asking him, how's Lacey doing? Did she go to college? Or excuse me, did she just move away? Did she get married and find a boyfriend, or any of that? And her dad just kind of brushed it off and said that she was fine. And he just quickly changed the subject. The neighbor said the neighbor had not seen Lacey again until this year, 2022. And this is where all of this came out. So on January 3rd, 2022, around 2 a.m., Lacey's mother, Sheila, called 911 to report that her daughter wasn't breathing. Another neighbor in that neighborhood had also spotted Lacey, I guess through the window, on the couch in Sheila's home, and told her and Clay that they needed to call the police, which I think that's kind of confusing. I just read that, but that's when the coroner on the scene, Dr. Ewell Buckham, he was called on the scene immediately after a sheriff had called and reported back with the findings, that they were so disturbing that the officers didn't even want to go in the house. Lacey was now 36 years old and was deceased. Her body was found partially clothed, sitting upright, and completely covered from head to toe in her own bodily waste. She was sitting cross-legged, the way that most people want to sit when they're trying to get comfortable, which is really heartbreaking to think about. Her top lip was curled upward, which showed her rotting teeth. She was infested with insects and covered with insect bites, and her hair was knotted and all matted, pretty much to her head. She was essentially stuck to the couch, like she was fused to the couch, and she had been in that position for so long that she essentially started to melt through the couch. While paramedics declared Lacey died on the scene, Dr. Bickham said that she died probably 24 to 48 hours earlier due to her decomposition. Due to the condition of her body, it was hard to tell. Her bottom and back part was so black that they could barely tell what it was. And the coroner actually said that he was so affected by this case that he did not eat for a week, and he would wake up from nightmares crying because he couldn't stop thinking about it. The autopsy reports indicated that Laci's cause of death came from severe medical neglect, which led to chronic malnutrition and starvation, acute ulcer formation, immobility, and a bone infection, which finally resulted in sepsis. She was also suffering from bacterial infections and tested positive for COVID. So she had COVID that whole time, and she weighed 96 pounds. Her parents were asked later why they did not bring her to a doctor, and they said because she did not want to go. Like, no, if your daughter is in that bad of a condition, you know, it shouldn't even get to that point. That's crazy. But the evidence led people to believe that Laci had been sitting on that couch in the same position for 12 years. 12 years. Laci's death was ruled a homicide due to severe neglect. She suffered from locked-in syndrome. So pretty much what locked-in syndrome is a rare neurological disorder that causes complete system paralysis of all voluntary muscles except for the muscles in your eyes. So all you can do is like look around you, move your eyes, and that's pretty much it. People who have this are conscious and awake, but they have no way to move or speak. Laci hadn't seen a doctor in 20 years, like I said, but when they said that they tried to bring her to the doctor, she said she didn't want to go. The town was so surprised when all this came out because, like I said before, the Fletchers were looked up to be a really, you know, church-going, middle-class working family, and everyone was very surprised, and they were just seemed to be, you know, very good people with good faith. But they were both charged with second-degree homicide, which carried a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. And they were actually both released on a $300,000 bond, and they did get a flight risk so that they would not leave the state, and their trial is actually set to start in October. So what do you guys think? Do you think that they should get charged with second-degree homicide, or do you think that they should get a more charge, even though it says that it would carry out life in prison without parole? So hopefully they get life in prison. The officers did say when they got to the house, they were surprised by the scene of it because all that was really messy or anything was Laci, and they smelled a little bit of like a foul odor, but they were surprised when they walked in and it wasn't like a complete mess. Like things were set up for Laci. Like next to her, she had where she could get off the couch and go to the bathroom on a little toilet next to her. She had like tissues, nasal spray. On the other side of her, she had a bunch of DVDs that she could watch. There were blankets folded over the couch. So the jury's kind of not really sure what they want to do right now, but we will see in October, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on this case. Let me know below what you think about today's video, and again, subscribe to my channel, and I do videos on true crime, creepy and disturbing things. So if you like that stuff, then come back next week and watch next week's video. I will have another disturbing video for October, but that is it for today, guys. Thank you for watching my video, and have a great day. Bye.